Let's think back for 1 second together to the initiator track off of BLACKBRIAR's A Dark Euphony being an unwelcome guest, and more specifically my comments surrounding the anticipation I had with that number. I forgot to reference this. There were two numbers that I was anticipating for different reasons and extremes. We Make Mist, each piece sounds incredibly interesting just based on name, some especially, but We Make Mist, I questioned what that was, and other fans, I guess, did as well, because if you remember, I believe it's publicly available for viewing as we speak, there was a video of the band, I believe, like on a Zoom call or something similar, where they were answering some fan questions, and this one came up of what exactly is We Make Mist. And the percussionist, I forget his name at the moment, but the percussionist's answer to this was to expel a vape breath. It's a funny response, but it qualifies, right? I thought that was particularly humorous. But generally, the mystery of that name is still so tantalizing. Like, what exactly is this referencing? And you consider the mythic pull and the centrality of what BLACKBRIAR's narratives oftentimes embody. That is a key thing with them, and the fantasy element to mist in a bit of a ethereal sense in that respect, it was compelling. I don't want to speak for anybody, but imagine a great pool of us BLACKBRIAR fans were like, what exactly is this referencing? On a deeper inspection, it seems things are starting to click. Now, I will specify that I'm operating on what I'm about to say, void of official disclosure on lyrical intent. I do like to, if I can, gauge, and it's been a bit of a mixture of A Dark Euphony. Some numbers I've been able to use a declared ambition and intent on behalf of the artists in showcasing particular themes and explorations from individual numbers. Other times, I've been able to have a summation of what exactly the songs might be speaking to via direct mentions of the lyrics. Other times, it's a song of a bit more ambiguity, again, void of an official translation. Of course, music is open to subjective interpretation, right? We approach it differently, perhaps, and see different things. So, openly, I'm just attesting to you that I'm not operating necessarily by this number with knowledge of an official declaration. This is my own interpretation based on what I can see. But in perusing the lyrics in advance of hearing We Make Mist, I think we have an answer to this question, and central threads that are now being tied of A Dark Euphony, not just in the fantasy respect, or maybe again a mythic basis, but on a nature focus. This came through with Cicada, the Evergreen and Weeping Tree, especially the last one. And We Make Mist has a particular facet of interest for me on a nature survey. Lyrically speaking, because again, the song is going to be a fresh encounter, but I have skimmed through this. This is told with amazing detail, but the subject, and I questioned what exactly it was, my sense with it, and again, I don't know for sure, but there's a reminiscence with this number, for me, to Deadly Diminuendo, off the last album released, The Cause of Shipwreck, one of my favorites off of that. And if you remember the backstory expressed by the band, or more specifically, I believe, Zora, that was written at a time where she had taken, I believe, a trip to the Alps, judging by the Instagram post, yes. And it was also based around inspiration of a book I think she was reading at the time. So that song is an intermixing between what sounds like a really good story, just based on the song, and a nature trip. We Make Mist, my feeling is that this comes across the same way. And for me, I'm partly saying this because of a personal journey that I took related to obsidian, which I believe is the subject of the song. I'm no expert when it comes to volcanic activity. I know some of the results in terms of the rocks, and obsidian, I can just say visually from being around it and feeling it, it's probably one of the prettiest rocks I've ever seen in my life. To just take time away and witness nature, it's a beautiful encounter. We Make Mist, I get this sense, and I think the subject of obsidian is quite beautiful. As I was saying though, my idea here, it's an inclination in the back of my mind, is that this was written maybe from the same respect that Deadly Diminuendo was. Or I'm just reading into it on my own journeys. Because I do share a particularly recent path that maybe this song bears a reminiscence to. But perhaps we could look at our own experiences and apply different types of environments and locations that would qualify as the subject of the piece fittingly, in a similar spirit to perhaps whatever, or wherever, if at all, is intended to be the central inspirational location. For me, I doubt that Deschutes National Forest was that, but I went back in 2021 in the midst of a family vacation. It was sort of on the tail end of days as well, to the Big Obsidian Flow out there. One of the best places I've ever been in terms of nature. Now, I'll tell you if you go and search for this, and maybe you could find photos from like the spring season. I happen to have a photo on my hard drive of when I was out there in March, when there was still snow out there. I mean, it looks pretty again in different climate conditions, but it was so beautiful being there. And I'll tell you, in skimming the storyline of We Make Mist, just in advance of humoring it with you, I feel like I'm right there. Already a beautiful scene in terms of a tantalizing entrance with the song, and I hope you experience the same. Our mutual journey through the remainder of A Dark Euphony together as promised, and We Make Mist, certainly on its face already, I'm drawn in. Let's add a tune to the mix, which I'm sure will just add so much dimension. It's got a touch of deadly diminuendo. That fantasy concentration, though, is so alive. This actually makes the experience of being near a volcano when it's erupting makes it actually sound kind of fun. This is an incredibly mature piece on realization. A lot of prowess expressed, not just vocally, but the instrumental. Wow. The builds are remarkable. This is so beautiful. And the line work, the specific colors and the images, just adds on such a nice quality. Incredible. That line really draws you in. Creating a romantic picture of nature or natural activity. I've never seen it at this level of sophistication. It's just gorgeous. The threshold of where Zora's vocals sit on this one and where she's hitting. On the higher inclines, those swings, fast-paced and immediate. Such a great trait here. The return. It's such... This piece is just radiant. The pleasant stagnation. I love this. I have never heard anybody romanticize again a volcano encounter like this. It's so fresh. It's such a nice cutoff too. Wow. I mean, okay, that bit of a sample was on a Never teaser as well, so I recognized that ending. I wondered if it would get there. The way that draws to a close, though, It's quick, but it's fitting, isn't it? It's tied together well. I love the vision of that number. It's visual, colorful, potent on the imagery. You can immediately imagine it. Or just the effect of it. The process. Maybe that's a general theme, right, with this song. Chaos begets beauty, often, even in nature's cataclysms. I have never heard somebody, though, to this type of prowess capture the romanticized version of a volcano, meeting nature and the result in obsidian or maybe other forms of rock. But this piece just glows. And the sound effects, too, in the narrative mixed in with the vocals and the inflection points. Of course, Zora can do that. She's incredible as a vocalist. I love her. And the precision on her vocals, in particular with this number, is mesmerizing. And what beautiful line work. Again, like I said, romantic feel, clearly evoked. A song that's made when fire falls in love with ice. The alpine glow of the white mountain peaks, when a torrent of lava meets frozen waterfall streams. I've never heard a song expressed like this, and it's so, well, I mean, I've heard maybe other subjects that are similarly articulated, but not with the subject point of this song individually. Boy, it's charming. I love it. We make tiny ice crystals. When we kiss, we make mist. Isn't that just so beautiful? It's piercing, but it's this tangible thing that, again, like I said, might be rooted in nature, might be a phenomenon that we can't necessarily relate to in action, but we can experience the sentimental touch when readapting the image into a lens that is more practical and applicable to the way we behave in nature, especially in the influence of romance. It's perfectly pictured, and the tune, the construction, the way that Zora's vocals just linger again as sort of a whisper effect, and it really does take on a shade of a deadly diminuendo. It helps that there's, again, a nature concentration, that the two feel very similar. Different keys, different types of reaches, but it still has that harsh root. This one, though, I love the presence of it. It has such a captivating realization. Favorite for me on the album, and I hate to rank things because all these pieces have really impressed me, but We Make Mist. Talk about being in the middle of BitChute's natural forest and experiencing that visual, again, of just all the obsidian sitting there. I know, again, post-volcanic activities, maybe the scenery is a bit different, that's the realization, but like I said, chaos begets beauty. I feel like I'm there. It feels like a song that's written again from a nature visit and a first-person witness. It speaks to me like that. I don't know if that is the experience the band is cataloging here or what fueled this, but it just takes on that facade to me that is really similar and reminiscent to Deadly Diminuendo. I would love to hear what your feelings are on this one in terms of experience. I love that encounter. I'd imagine many of you would concur, whatever vantage point you take. And again, I welcome everybody, longtime fan or initiate listener to BLACKBRIAR, and welcome if this is an initiate encounter for you. You see that sophistication, right? The delivery, though, is just exceptional. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this piece. One number to go, though, in our journey of fulfillment with the realization in full of a dark euphony, but generally this album has impressed. Every piece individually on standing, an incredible work. We Make Mist no different. Real superior release here, but with the command and the precision that BLACKBRIAR readily exercises, you walk in thinking it'll be something special, and it is. It's a delightful number. I love it. But again, the reflective period I experience and witness to it, just being back in the midst of standing amongst the big obsidian flow and just witnessing that scenery, I see that in action here. Maybe what created that in an illustrative perspective realization, it's clearly made manifest by the song storytelling. I love this number. Envisioned beautifully and put to audio so well. It's great. I love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.